Hello, I'm Father Joe Gambala, pastor of St. Malachy, and welcome to our series on the saints. The saints we are covering in this series are the saints that are featured at St. Malachy. One of those saints is St. Therese Lisieux, or known as St. Teresa Little Flower. The stained glass window depicting her is in our gathering room. How many of you have ever seen Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit? If you have, good for you, because the author of those books, Tolkien, was a devout Catholic. And if you read his books, both The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, you'll find many examples of Catholicism. You have to reflect about the different characters, but they're there. And one of the biggest themes that Tolkien emphasized was great things happen with those who the world does not pay any attention to, the little and the insignificant. There is this conversation in the movie, the first episode of the Hobbit trilogy, where Gandalf is having a conversation with the Queen of the Elves, Gandalf. And the conversation has Gandalf saying to the Queen of the Elves, "The head of my order, Sauron, believes that great evil must be met with great power and great force for good. But that's not how I have seen the world. I have seen the world whereby lots of small acts of kindnesses and charities by farmers and fishermen and travelers, the common folks, that their small acts of kindnesses and charities is what really holds the darkness back." And I love that. And I got to believe that Tolkien probably thought of St. Teresa when he wrote that down, because he was born about 20 years after St. Teresa had passed away. And I have no doubt was well aware of St. Teresa. She was an extremely popular saint when she became one. Who was this woman? Well, she was very young and in her teens entered a convent. She entered the convent and she stayed there. She died in her 20s. She didn't have a very long life, but her life was filled with prayer and small kindnesses that she would act upon with her fellow nuns. She was always there to help the nuns who were sick or help others with their chores and go out of the way to help the Mother Superior. She also was extremely devout in her prayers, and she had visions of God, and she wrote down those visions. And her holiness, her kindnesses, her charities became well known not only in the convent, but along with her visions, they were published, and the literature about her began to spread throughout the church. It went to Rome itself. So much so that the Pope wanted to know more about this young lady, and whatever was written about her visions and about her reflections on prayer and being kind to one another, he wanted to know this because he thought this was so very important for people to hear. This is a young teenage girl who had no money, had no army, had no special powers, but what she had was a big heart open to the love of God, and through little actions every day caused great things to happen, because a little bit of love can move the world.